What's up, guys? Joe Munoz, MunozMission.com, or you may also know me from OneStepPrep.com. Hey, in this video I want to talk to you about my business ventures, some of the kind of my mindset towards business, the first business I started, the other businesses I've had that I have basically started, operated, and later closed, why I closed them, why I think they didn't really quite work out. Anyway, I'm doing this video to share with you some background on this. Those of you that are interested in hearing any of this kind of stuff, maybe you want to start your own business, and also to kind of document it, along the way, because I've learned a lot and I'm continuing to learn. I think the greatest mistake we can make is think that you're ever done learning. I think this whole life is nothing more than a bunch of lessons, and you never really stop learning, right? So I just want to share with you guys business and how the whole thing started, where I'm at with it now, and maybe some lessons you can take away from how it's gone for me. So let me rewind, basically, just kind of to the roots, if you will. Born of two Cuban parents. They were both, my dad and my mother were both born in Cuba. My dad migrated to the U.S. when he was 12. My mom was 4. And actually, interestingly enough, she went to Spain first, and then she migrated over to the United States. Kind of a long story, maybe for a different video if you're interested in that. But anyway, born of two Cuban migrant parents, and I have always had this drive for financial freedom. Not so much to earn a business, to own a business necessarily, but certainly for financial freedom. And the reason I think I've had that is because it was very, very apparent to me as a kid that whoever had the finances in order ultimately had control. And they ultimately were able to make the decisions of when to go, where to go, with who to go, for how long to go. Control of time, essentially, really is what we're getting at, is the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, whenever you want, for as long as you want, right? And so that concept has been extraordinarily of interest to me, extraordinarily interesting for me. And I've taken a lifelong passion of studying people and individuals far more successful than I, companies, and this kind of thing. And so, make a long story short, the first business that I had was aviation related, because as you well know, I'm a pilot. Started flying when I was 13 years of age, and essentially what happened was I got a job which was a contract job. I wasn't an employee, I was a contractor, and one of my colleagues at the time, who I'm still very close with, said, you need to start a corporation so that the person that's giving you this work, the entity that's giving you this work as a contractor, they can pay your company, not you directly, and then you can have tax benefits and deductions from this. And I didn't quite understand this at the time, but after speaking with him more closely, working closely with him, I was very fortunate that he was able to help me and willing to help me, and doing some research on my own, I realized, okay, starting a corporation was the best way to get paid as a contractor, a 1099 contractor. So I would encourage any of you guys that do consulting or contract work, you're not an employee, but you're consulting, or you're doing what we like to refer to as 1099 work or contract work, consider opening either an S Corp or an LLC or a C Corp. I mean, there's different entities and different reasonings and rationale why you'd want to do each. I had to investigate all this on my own. If you're interested, reach out to me. We can sit down and talk about what's best for your situation. But I opened up a company. The company's still alive and well. It's called Sky Crew Aviation. Sky Crew Aviation basically started as me providing a training, just myself, at the company where I was working. But I opened it as Sky Crew Aviation, thinking I'm going to do something else with this company name. And this was kind of the first start of a business that I formed. Now, Sky Crew Aviation, I also utilize this to do what's called aircraft ferry or contracting. In other words, I had pilots, a ton of pilots that I knew and know in my network, and I figured, man, a lot of these guys and gals are qualified to fly all different types of airplanes, so I might as well put together a ferry flying or a pilot contracting service. And I did that, and I did it for a while. It took a lot of work. This is kind of the essence of my first experience in business. I learned how to start a company, how to create a corporation, how to get a tax ID number, how to create a website, how to build out a website. It was all very simplistic, but how to set up a business phone, how to set up a business email. This was pretty much my first look into this, and I can't say that I enjoyed doing this, to be honest, in terms of the actual work of contracting pilots to go fly planes. It wasn't very enjoyable work, and the truth is it really wasn't very profitable work, because the amount of time, energy, and effort that it entailed to do this effectively and finally get somebody placed into the aircraft, and then the cost of just insurance to insure a crew, in an aircraft. At the end of it, when all is said and done, you work a lot and you don't make very much. And it didn't feel very purposeful to me either, to be quite honest with you. So I ended up operating that business for close to almost a year. It was about 8 months. And then I decided, I'm just going to focus on my primary job, which was training pilots at the time. So I stopped that business. And in that time, another business that I kind of started was revising approach plates. And in the pilot world, if you're not familiar, you're watching this, maybe you're not a pilot, we have charts, and they need to be revised, usually about every 56 days, almost every 2 months at the latest. We revise these charts in case they put up a building or a structure, a cell phone tower, whatever. We update these charts for various reasons. That's just some of them. So anyway, point being that I was doing that for a little bit, and then the advent of the iPad came out, and iPads were approved to use charts in the cockpit on the iPad. And of course, to update charts on the iPad, you just do it with a click of a button, which, by the way, I prefer. But from a business perspective, it wasn't a sustainable business model. So that idea and that small business kind of opened and closed relatively quickly, just because of the nature of the technology and how quickly it was evolving and things getting approved for utilization in the cockpit. So still instructing pilots at this point in my life. And I end up going down to Lima, Peru on a 10-day assignment to teach Peruvian airlines. And unbeknownst to me, there's kind of I got another business idea while I was down there, and I'll tell you real quick the story, the short version of it. I went out to dinner, and it was actually lunch. I went to lunch with some of the students of the class, and one of them ordered what I had no idea at the time was actually a cell phone charger. So to the table, here comes the waiter with our appetizers and drinks and what have you, and they bring a little block. It must have been no larger than this, microphone transmitter here. And I look at that and I'm like, what is that? And I'm just kind of studying it, and I see the student, that I'm there having lunch with, I see him plug his phone into this thing, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You just ordered that off the menu, and I've never seen anything like this in the United States. So that stuck. That little seed stuck. Finished my 10-day training assignment down there teaching them. I get back here and I decide, I'm going to start a cell phone charging company in restaurants. So at this point, of course, I know how to open an entity. I know how to get a tax ID. I know how to create a website and all these things. So I opened Cell Power. And Cell Power was cell phone charging in restaurants. And that business, I basically did that not very long. That was another maybe 4 or 5, I'd say probably 6-month project. And I got a bunch of high-speed chargers, and I got a charging station, and I went to some local bars. I remember going up and down the beach, pitching this idea to a bunch of different, local spots over there. And I finally got this into a restaurant called El Balcón de las Américas. It's a Colombian restaurant. Fortunately enough, I sat down with the owner of the shop, who owns several locations, and he said, "Man, we'll try it out in one of our shops." And I remember pitching it to him, sitting down at a booth in Spanish. I was pitching it to them, and I could tell they liked the idea. They weren't overly sold. They wanted to give it a try. They said, "Yeah, okay, bring it by. Let's see, how it goes." And so I brought it by, and I left it there, I would say, for probably 3 months. And what we found was people either weren't requesting it, or chargers more often than not were getting stolen. They were disappearing. And eventually the owner of the restaurant kind of just got tired of tracking down chargers and billing people for them. I don't think the logistics were set up very well they weren't accommodating not only to the end user, which is the patron at the restaurant, but even also for his staff. It wasn't very easy for them to process billing. They ultimately wanted to put the cell phones into a locker, if I remember well, and then I wasn't really aligned with that because I didn't think people want to lock their phones up in a locker. They want to keep it with them while they're eating. Anyways, bottom line is I also wasn't very passionate about this business, and my wife actually was the one that said, I don't know why you're in the business of charging cell phones. You don't really care about cell phones, and you certainly don't care about charging cell phones. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. You're right. And I'm actually losing time. I'm losing money doing this because I could be doing other things that are more profitable. And so, but it was an interesting deal. Basically, it was $5 to charge your phone. I would keep 3. The restaurant would keep 2. Did that for a little bit. Ended up closing it down in the end because of basically my wife waking me up and saying, I don't know why you're doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. You should stick to what you know and what you really love to do and what you're passionate about, which is train pilots. And she was 100% right. So I ended up closing that down and kept doing my job of just training pilots. And eventually I realized that this is where I belong, training pilots. And my partner in the business, One Step Prep, he had some videos that he was selling at the time. It was antiquated. It was kind of old school DVD. And so I remember sitting down with him in his office at the time, and I'm like, wow, this is great because we could literally clone ourselves like this, and we will be able to deliver the same standardized briefing, the same quality instruction to all of our students. And I say it humbly. Myself and my partner Juan, we were very highly requested as instructors in the flight academy. We were probably the top 2 most highly requested instructors, and for various reasons that I later was able to pinpoint, but most of which was empathy with the student and just a genuine caring for the student. And I realized this was a pivotal moment for me in business. What has made all the difference is that. Not going into business for monetary gain and not going into business for financial freedom, but going into business to genuinely be of use. This idea of, hey, let's put everything on video, and One Step Prep was born and all this, right? All of that really stemmed from genuinely wanting to be of use and looking out for people's best interests and just caring for people and valuing people. And this is what we did in the classroom and continue to do in our training events. And when we started when I started to take that on board, man, that I can actually do this and I can scale it via video. It wasn't necessarily born as really a business idea, but an idea of multiplying myself that ultimately turned into what it is today. But the pivotal moment there, and what was so foundational, is the realization that genuine use, wanting to be of genuine use to people and going into business for that reason, has proven to make all the difference in the world. And so anyway, basically One Step Prep was born with nothing more than, I remember going to Walmart. I bought a little headset that had a microphone. I did a screen recording of our first training video, which was not really me on a video at all. It was actually just a screen recording and a voiceover, and then putting that product up on a website, which previous business experience had shown me how to open a corporation, how to get a tax ID number, how to create a website. And mind you, I was very amateurish, at it. Not to say that I'm a professional necessarily now, but certainly time has gone on and I've learned various lessons in this. But the website wasn't great. It certainly wasn't what it is today. But we put it up, and started to get some traffic. And kept selling this voiceover video, and finally we made $300, and I went out and bought a camera for $300, and now I actually did an actual video instead of a voiceover, and then we started selling that until we made a few $1,000, and then we bought a high definition professional camera, and so the product continued to improve, and we did it all organically. But basically that's kind of how it developed into One Step Prep. And then of course after we got sufficient requests of, hey man, I saw you on video, can I come train with you in person? We started to decide, rather than just do prep, because if you don't know, the product we sell is video prep for pilots that are going to acquire a specific rating on an airplane. We're like, man, why don't we just issue the rating ourselves, which requires the acquisition and the certification of a formal FAA certificate, which is a very lengthy process, but we figure let's do it because we're going to be able to serve more pilots. And this has been the mindset that, and I would encourage you to take this on board into your life. Even if you're going to start, whether you're going to start a business or not, right, is to be genuinely of use, to value people, to take on a servitude mindset. It really, beyond business and anything that money could ever provide or any external material thing could provide, it gives purpose, internal purpose, beyond, again, any external reward that you could have. And so, man, we said, let's just open our own academy. And so One Step Prep Academy was born, which is now our FAA certified school. So we have the courseware, branch, which is One Step Prep. And then we have One Step Prep Academy, which is a separate entity in and of its own, which is our the formal flight school. So there's a lot more I'm sure I could share. I'll kind of keep it condensed in this video. And, if you're looking to get into business, or maybe you own a business, but what I would share with you is whatever it is you're looking to do. If you're passionate about it, you're going to find it a lot easier, because down this road I have found, through many lessons, many of which I haven't even covered and are beyond the scope of this video, there are several barriers, and there's many barriers. And for you to have the energy to overcome them, you have to have passion behind, the drive and the mission and why you're doing what you're doing. And I can tell you, I've never felt that with any other business other than the one that I'm doing now, which is I've found what it is that fulfills that or checks the box, which is the training of pilots. And through that, not only the training of pilots, but why I started Munoz Mission is just the training of people in general, being able to pass on what I would consider to be valuable and hopefully to be seen as valuable in the eyes of others, the information that I'm able to provide. And so what I would tell you is find what it is that you're passionate about, and if you're not sure, just kind of think about, man, what do I like to do effortlessly, that it's never something that requires a lot of energy or thought, or it's just something that I voluntarily would like to do, and I would do it for free. That's the first thing. Second thing, to kind of go back at the start of the video, I said, hey man, financial freedom was always this big thing, and it continues to be for me, right? If you are interested in that and you seek that, right, you don't have to start a business to have financial freedom. Just to make that clear, you could very well have your job, whatever that may be, and you can get very good at that job, and you can earn appropriately and adequately from that job. And if you do, the right things and make enough right decisions with your money, you're going to end up with financial freedom. So, owning and starting and owning a business and growing a business is not for everybody. I'm just this entrepreneurial person. I have that. I like to tinker with things. I'm not the type of person that can just sit and or even just do one job and go home, right? I mean, I have to be in a million things. And maybe you're thinking, I'm not like that. That's great, man. That's okay. It's not for everybody. I'm just like that. I know that for certain. And so, find your passion. If you're seeking financial freedom, don't think you have to start a business. And the last thing, and the third thing I'm going to close with, is have genuinely people's best interests in heart. Love on people. Have their best interests at heart. Want to serve them. Want to be of use for them, and bear the burdens of others. The teaching of the great book, of pretty much every great book out there. Bear ye one another's burdens. Just being able to be of use and be of service and help others in whatever it is that you do. That's what I would want to leave you with, and I hope that resonates well with the viewers. And if you've gotten this far into this video and you're still watching this, I just want to thank you very much for watching it. I appreciate it very much. Appreciate your support. Leave your comments below. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in flying, you want to learn about piloting, all about what we do at onestepprep.com. That's the site for you, onestepprep.com, for the piloting world. If you're looking more about business, mindset, financial freedom, communication, which is another big topic I really like to get into, mindset, mental fortitude, go to munozmission.com. All right, I'll share with you real quick. I wrote this book. It's called Flight Plan. Why? In the jets, we go in any airplane, we have a flight plan from A to B with what we like to call in the technical jargon waypoints. Tells us basically our origin, our destination, and the waypoints how we're going to get there. I think a lot of people need that in life, and I hope this book serves as that. It's 3 parts, 235 pages, 80 lessons, and 35 exercises. Starts with finances, money, how to earn it, how to keep it, how to multiply it. All right, that's the first part to this. Second part, communication, and the third part, mindset. Several exercises in here. I would love to get you on this book, munozmission.com/book. I'll sign the hard copy and send it to you. Or you can grab the ebook version of that. With any hard copy version, I'm going to send you the ebook version. Finally, if you want to do something a little more personal with me, munozmission.com/mentor. I love to do this mentor program. I've been doing this with quite a few guys and gals, particularly those that are younger in age, which I really enjoy, kind of working with the youth and getting their mindset right for life. So munozmission.com/mentor. And in that, you're going to get the book, and we're going to do exercises together, and we're going to talk finances, communication, and mindset. Every month we meet. I would love to do that with you, or if you just want to start with the book, you can grab that munozmission.com/book. Right? However I work with you, I hope I get the opportunity to work with you, to serve you, to be of use for you, and genuinely just be able to grow together, produce together, and do great things together. All right, be great. Joe Munoz, the name. Love you all. God bless you. I'll see you in another video.